Take two. Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome to week 7 of general psychology. So, this week, the only thing going on are two assignments, test one and the reflection. Let's start with the reflection. The reflection is going to be some guided questions that gets you to think about what you've learned so far, how you're enjoying the class, what you like, what you wish could be different, and also for you to think about yourself. Are you dedicating the time necessary to get the grade that you're aiming for? So this reflection is a chance for you to consolidate your learning, to actually think about what you have been reading, what you've been participating on the discussion board, what you've been talking about with your group members, what you've been watching on the videos. So that reflection assignment is a way to earn some points. And you can earn 25 points for completing reflection 1. All right. Um, the next way you can earn points is by completing test 1. Test 1 is the same as the midterm. And since we're at the midpoint of the semester, we have test 1. Now, last week I made a video and I told you exactly what chapters were on the video. And I also talked about the topics, but I'm going to repeat that for those of you who missed it, for those of you in the back. But the video is still available on YouTube, so feel free to go back and watch the video. Anyway, the topics are what is psychology and the science of psychology, which is basically chapter 1. The biological foundations of behavior, which is basically chapter 2, human development, which is chapter 3, and then learning and memory, which are like chapter 6 and 7. So those are the 5 topics that will be on the test, and there are 50 questions. So 2 points per question for a total of 100 points. Now, test 1 is proctored via honor lock. So if you don't have a camera and a microphone, you're going to need to make an appointment with the testing center or find a way to have access to a microphone and camera and download the Google Chrome extension so that you can take this test because it is proctored via honor lock. Some of you might be wondering, well, I don't want to take the test via honor lock. Guess what? I don't really want to use honor lock. But unfortunately, the past people have been tempted to cheat. Not everyone, just a few people, but I have caught people cheating. And so that's why I started using honor lock. And then even with honor lock, I've caught people cheating. And I don't really like to police students like that. But unfortunately, I have to because it's not fair for those who actually, put in the time and take the test. Anyway, so the test will be available as of Wednesday and will stay open until Sunday. So you want to mark your calendar to get it done sometime between Wednesday and Sunday. You will have 75 minutes to take this test. And once you start taking it, the time starts ticking down. So you can't like start taking it and then stop and come back to it. No. Once you start taking it, that's it. So figure out ahead of time when you're going to take it. Now, I do plan on making another video, but in the meantime, let me give you some pointers. I'm going to link in the comment section or in the description, one of the two, a link to this YouTube series by a psychology professor, Dr. Stephen Chu, who did this series of How Can I Study Hard and Still Fail? This series is perfect because he talks about metacognition. He talks about some of the habits that people use to study, and then they wonder why they're not successful. Well, psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. So guess what? Test taking is thinking, is using mental processes, and it's actually engaging in behavior. So who better to find out how to study than from psychologists? So watch this short video. It's actually a series, but I'm going to link just one of the videos in either the comments or, in the description. And I would suggest watching that video because there's tons of tips on how to study and, how to improve your studying. Something else that I would say is make a cheat sheet. On this test, even though it's proctored via honor lock, which means that while you're taking the test, someone's watching you to make sure you're not, looking in your textbook, you are allowed a cheat sheet, 1 page front and back. So 8.5 by 11, a standard typing paper. You can type it, you can handwrite it, and it's 2-sided. Okay. The reason why I encourage students to make this cheat sheet is because when you take the time to study, well, guess what? You're committing the information into memory. You're getting it in your mind. So, that's 1. 2, I want to reward you for putting in that effort. Okay. 3, some people have test anxiety. You get a little flustered. So when you have that cheat sheet, if you get a little frustrated or flustered, you can look over at the sheet and see what you wrote down and jog your memory. So the test, even though it's closed book, closed notes, you are allowed 1 page of notes. And that 1 page is 8.5 by 11, 2-sided, handwritten or typed, totally up to you. All right. Now, even though this test is challenging, it is doable, okay? And if you don't do that well, you shouldn't stress out because I offer a makeup at the end of the term. The makeup has the same content, not the exact same questions, but the same content, and it's 25 questions instead of 50. And the points are worth, is worth the same amount of points, but each question is worth more since it's fewer questions. So if you do poorly on test one or you miss test one, you will simply have to take the makeup. Okay. The other thing I'll say is that there's an extra credit assignment, and I plan to post the extra credit at the same time that I post the test. And so you will be able to, do the extra credit and get a bonus 10 points. In our class, because we're not going to talk about cognition and emotion in sufficient detail, I'm going to make the extra credit about cognition and emotion. So, yeah, there you have it. You can still get the information if you're following along, reading the topics, reading the chapters in the textbook. All right, so we are in week 7. It's the midpoint. If you have questions, comments, compliments, or concerns, leave me a comment or go on Canvas and go to the questions thread and leave a question there. I am available Monday through Thursday. Now that the A term has ended, my office hours will be shifting. Today is the last day of the A term, and I'm going to be grading from now until tomorrow morning. So I won't be responding to you if you email me tonight. But tomorrow, after I have meetings tomorrow morning also. But after the meetings, then I will be focusing on posting another, like some extra help for the test, and also making sure the test is ready to go. So yeah, I think that's kind of the high points that I wanted to get into. I'll see you. Well, I ain't gonna see you on the discussion board because we ain't having a discussion this week. I guess I'll see what you think in the reflections. Toodaloodos.